It's Mailbag Monday here on CHGO Blackhawks. You got lots of questions about Connor Bedard. It's also the 15th anniversary of the 2010 Stanley Cup Championship. We'll reminisce and answer your questions next. Happy Mailbag Monday. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. I'm apologizing for my voice right away. The allergies are absolutely killing me. I'm not sick. I feel great. My voice sounds like ass. Here we are. I'm Jay Zawoski. That's Mario Tirabassi, who will be reading the mailbag questions today. Steven is here running the show as well. Do us a favor, hit that like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. And if you're catching up on the podcast, thank you. Make sure you're following or subscribed on your favorite podcast app and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Like we mentioned, a lot of questions about Connor Bedard today. Obviously, lots of questions about the offseason plan for the Blackhawks, but let's start on a happy note. 15 years ago
Those
tonight,
notes can't be happy?
I'm gonna predict not. I'm already seeing some crazy stuff happening in the chat about Connor Bedard. So,
sure.
15 years ago tonight,
Yeah.
Hawks win their first of three, well, their fourth of six, technically, Stanley Cups, but the first of three in my lifetime.
Modern era.
Where were you? What was your vibe? What was your experience like?
I was at home watching the game with family. Was back home from college. And watching with mom and dad and my sister all at home, and just on pins and needles throughout the entire game. It was just an awesome back and forth game. That series, I feel like, of the three Cup finals, I feel like that final series doesn't get as much credit as it should. Because that Flyers team was such a pain in the butt to go up against. They had some really good back and forth games, but yeah, that game, you're up late in the third period. You're thinking you're getting it shut down there at the end, but you end up going to overtime. And I just remember, Kane does his little shimmy shake on future Cup winning teammate Kimmo Timonen,
Blackhawks legend,
and goes at the net, goes around, and he's celebrating. Patrick Sharp is celebrating, and I'm doing the 2-point stance, staring at the TV, like, what is going on? And my dad starts running around the house. He's like, he scored, it's in. All he's going because he just trusts it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I need to see a replay. And then sure enough, you see the replay, and I join him lapping the house, just celebrating. And yeah, it was just awesome. And to have that moment with him, it's sports life passed down from dad. Tale as old as time, but that was a lot of fun. It was just, and it's, just as a fan and being able to see your team win a championship is awesome. And the first of three, for my top team in my life, really special.
Like today, 15 years ago, I was not 100%. My daughter was 2 weeks old. I'm fairly certain I had the flu. And I almost passed out in the shower.
This is your flu game.
I know, it really is. And Mitch Rosen, the program director at the Score, he's still there doing the same thing. I call him. I'm like, I am not doing great. I almost passed out in the shower. He's like, I need you more tonight than ever. So I rallied, got there, took a bunch of vitamins, drank a bunch of tea, all that stuff. And me and Matt Abaticola were doing the post-game show, and we're watching in the conference room. And it goes in. We're supposed to be on the second the game ends. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
And we both look at each other like, what do we do? Like, I guess it's over. So I have said, as soon as I see Jonathan Taves celebrate, I'll know it's over.
Yeah.
Because you could see Taves was in the group hug, but like looking over his shoulder, like, I don't want to jinx it.
Staring back at the net. Yeah.
And as soon as he started celebrating, you knew it was good. You knew it was real. It's funny in hindsight. You go back and watch that play. Of course it was in.
Right, yeah.
Like, where else would the puck have gone?
Yeah.
If it wasn't in, it would have been at the boards or...
It would have been, yeah. And,
you know.
and Michael Layton, another Blackhawks legend, wouldn't have reacted of, like, looking around, looking behind him. Like, he would have probably felt it in his pads. And then, Doc Emmerich on the call, he had no idea. He's trying to call it, as he's seen the play develop, and a few years ago he got his redemption call of the game, which was cool. I liked that. But yeah, even from the broadcast booth, couldn't really tell until you got the replay, the WGN broadcast. John Whiteman and Troy Murray, they knew right away. That's a special piece of audio. But yeah, it's just crazy. You basically got like 3 different celebrations on the ice of the goal. Just a crazy experience.
It's almost like it was so long overdue, and it took so long for the Hawks to get there that it had to be weird.
Yeah, right.
There had to be something that wasn't pure about it. Very much the way the Cubs won the World Series. Like, you knew it wasn't just going to be an easy 5-1 win.
With the rain delay.
Some kind of chaos had to ensue to make it happen. It makes it that much more memorable. But you mentioned the Flyers. I went back and watched the celebration DVD probably like a couple summers ago when we were doing a show for the 13th anniversary or whatever it was. God, those Flyers were tough, man. Like, everyone remembers Chris Pronger, but how great Scott Hartnell was in that series.
Oh, yeah.
He made that between the legs net front pass. Scott Hartnell was a beast in that series, and every time it felt like every time he thought the Hawks had the Flyers would storm back.
Yeah.
They were really tough. That was a really tough team to beat.
Danny Briere, Simone Gagne, like I remember those, young Claude Giroux.
Team.
Yeah. And Timonen too, like he was still Blackhawks fans mostly remember him for being beat on that play and playing 6 minutes a night for the 2015 Hawks, but he was top level all-star caliber defenseman guy, and he was a pain to have to deal with on the blue line as well. Like, yeah, that team, if they had a better goalie, outside of Layton, and I think it was not blanking on his name, wasn't Biron, the other guy. I'm blanking on his name. I know Layton was the goalie in the final. Point being, I think the goaltending matchup favored the Hawks.
Brian Boucher. Another Blackhawks legend.
Yeah.
And Ramray was there too, another Blackhawks legend.
Was he on the Flyers?
He was on that team, yeah.
Oh, must have been the third goalie. But yeah, I mean, I think that team, that Flyers team, they were the seventh seed in the East, because the Eastern final was the 7 versus the 8.
Yeah.
Montreal and Philly. So, yeah, pretty crazy that Flyers team. But I mean, you look at how both of those teams were built. Just a lot of hard-nosed playoff performers, and honestly, like, not much different has changed with how you build a playoff team 15 years later.
No. Mike Richards, Jeff Carter, Chris Pronger, Daniel Briere, Claude Giroux, Scott Hartnell, Simone Gagne, Kimmo Timonen, and James Van Riemsdyk, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Matt Carl. Dan Carcillo was a pain in the ass in that series. It's a good team. That was a very good, cup-worthy team for sure. Too bad. So sad. Suck it, Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, you talk about, like, we truly are spoiled to be able to say, like, one of the 3 cup runs that they had, in the last 15 years, and to be able to talk about that. But you look at that 2010 team and, everything that happened the next summer with the dismantling of the roster and everything, and you just know that if, things had panned out differently, if fax machines were a little bit more reliable, things might have been different going through those next seasons leading up to 2013. But it's always that like, what if chain of events? Like, if the 2010 team doesn't get dismantled, what do they do the next year, the year after? And then it's, you think about 2014. If they get to the Cup final, do they go back to back? Do they get to the final again in 15? Like, it's just, it's such an interesting, like, chain of events that 2010 team was built the way it was, had the success it did, and then was just like stopped right after.
Well, that's like why the 2013, like when they got down against Detroit, it was like, if they don't win now, they might never win a cup again.
Right.
You know, like it really might not happen. And I said that, I think I said it to Hub Arkish on the score at the time. He's like, you're crazy. They're just really good. I go, you never know. Ask the Avalanche.
Oh, yeah.
Who thought they were going to win 3-4 cups in a row because their young core was getting better and better, which they did. They're out in the first round this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, it's just, you never know. And the Hawks had such a great team in 13, historically great in 13. And had they lost that series in Detroit, if a shot goes the other way, who knows what the history of the Hawks is. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about. Do we have time for first mailbag question, Steven? All right. Let's get it in.
Starting off with a bang. King Tanner from the Discord. And if you are a diehard member, you put your questions in the diehard mailbag channel on our diehard only Discord, and you get first priority among a myriad of other benefits.
Other benefits.
What's that?
Myriad other benefits, not a myriad.
I said myriad.
You said a myriad.
Myriad other benefits of being a diehard, including 20% off of merch, events. Bear season's coming up. All our tailgates. You'll get 20% off of tickets on that. We just had our first of 2 golf outings this summer.
We didn't finish last.
Fun. We weren't last.
Nice job, buddy.
So we did a great job.
Thanks to Sean Anderson.
Yeah, he helped out a bunch. So yeah, become a diehard, jump in the Discord, and you get priority on Mailbag Mondays. King Tanner, with all the recently announced upgrades to the United Center and the Fifth Third Arena, what logical reason could there be for not having cup holders?
Okay, we've been through this, but we'll remind people.
It's because
if you're putting them on the back of the seat in front of you, they're literally on the floor. So if you have a long-haired person in front of you, which if it's a woman, probably, or a long-haired man, their hair will be on top of your drink. It's the way the United Center is designed. Now, you could technically put them on your chair here, but then walking through the aisles will become even more difficult.
You put them on the end of the armrest.
Those are some pretty narrow aisles.
Shorten the armrest, and the difference of the space that you shorten it up, you put the cup holder there.
You could do that. It does not sound super cost effective.
I don't care.
To replace 23,000 seats.
I want somewhere safe to put my drink that's
right
not
between your feet
between my feet. This
Very
is
safe.
we talk endlessly about how the Blackhawks are a draw for head coaches, for free agents, for trades, all the facilities. It's a 6-star organization, all these things, and we can't have cup holders. What kind of organization can we call ourselves without cup holders? That's what I think is going to be the difference between Mitch Marner coming to Chicago and going elsewhere, is if the comfort of the fans and their cup holders is addressed or not. I think honestly that is the problem.
We'll see. We'll go to the Mitch Marner press conference in Vegas and say, hey.
That's what's holding this organization back in their rebuild.
What percentage of your decision came to United Center cup holders?
Cup holders. You'd be surprised, the percentage. It's going to be bigger than you think.
I guess so. I don't know. I just it's never really bothered me. I don't know why.
Really, I mean,
like whenever I put my cup in the holders at Wrigley, I'm always getting other people's peanut dust in there, and back in the day, whatever was falling off the roof,
just adds
whatever was crumbling,
just toughens you up.
yeah. Not a big issue at the United Center, but I get it. It's funny that it bothers people so much. Wow. Just drink it.
I think it bothered us minorly one time, and it's taken on a life.
It has really taken on a life of its own.
That's fine though. I'll stump for cup holders until I can no longer stump.
All right, we're gonna hit the break zone here, but we have a shamefully low number of likes on this show. 44 likes. What are we doing here? This is another reason that Mitch Marner will not come to Chicago, because he comes to these shows and sees 171 people watching and only 44 likes and says this is not a committed fan base. So hit that like button for us. Every like adds a cup holder to the United Center. We'll be back in 2 minutes exactly on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code CHGO365. Deposit $10, place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. And with the NHL early payout offer with Bet365, you're a winner if your team gains a 3-goal lead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app, use code CHGO365. When you sign up, you'll get $150 in bonus bets when you bet 5, win or lose. Sign up, use that code CHGO365. Deposit 10, place a bet for 5 to get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, they can be used on the spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, in-app only.
Just like your favorite team needs a home ice advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage. And our friends at Empire Today can help you get that advantage. We've all been to those big box stores where you wander endless aisles. Somehow you're the one hauling all of the materials home. And when you get home, you're looking for the installer and coordinating everything yourself. But with Empire, you don't have to worry about any of that. Their flooring experts are there to help you every step of the way, and they can bring the showroom directly to you so you can find all the right materials, all the right colors to match your furniture, your wallpaper, anything that you have in your home that you want to match your floors, you can do it. And what's nice about Empire is that our CHGO listeners can get a $350 discount with the promo code CHGO. That's right, $350 discount when you use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions do apply. You can visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for more details.
All right, we got a super chat we want to get to before we open up the mailbag again. DJ Schnell, I'm assuming his name is DJ and he's not like a DJ like DJ Oreo.
Could be.
Maybe.
The avatar is a Grim Reaper with a Blackhawks jersey.
Well,
cool.
That's kind of ominous. He says, new thoughts at number 3 after Combine Week. Sounds like Martone is low on the Hawks list for some reason. Any idea why that might be? Yes, he is a not fast skater.
Yeah.
If he's low on the Hawks list, that's why.
Yeah, that would be the reason, easiest reason to point to. Sounds like he was pretty happy with the way his conversations had gone with the Hawks throughout the season and at the Combine, but who knows? We'll see how things play out at the draft. He's not the typical Blackhawks type of a burner skater. I see no reason for him not to be high on their list, but we'll see what comes of it at number 3. I don't think you need 12 skaters that all are the best in their draft class or whatever to be successful. Like, yeah, playing high-paced, high-octane, fast, all that, sure. That's all well and good, but you need beef in your lineup. Well,
it's the same concept as the 5'11" is too small.
Yeah, the James Higgins
but 6'1" is ideal.
Yeah.
It's like, man, if only he was 2 inches taller, he would have won that puck battle. Like, it's not like that. And I saw someone online say it. Everyone's trying to be the Panthers and not be the Maple Leafs. Like, you're right. They're afraid of being soft.
Sure.
Small doesn't mean soft. Big doesn't mean tough.
Right.
I mean, we can look back at Eric Daze with as many fuzzy memories as we want, but for a guy who was 6'4", 6'5", he didn't play like it.
No.
Kirby Dach was a big dude who did not play big and is hurt all the freaking time. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Frank Nazar's out there at 5'10", 5'11", getting in front of the net, buzzing. Brad Marchand's not big. He sure plays big. Mm-hmm. This idea that Porter Martone is like, you're going to have Bedard and Nazar on the power play, and he's got to like sit and wait for him to like catch up. Like it's me out there like lumbering, like, hold on, let me get.
Right.
It's not. Sure. Does he have ideal speed? No. But he makes up for it in a lot of different ways. Speaking of him, we're going to talk to him.
Yes. Porter Martone will be on the show tomorrow.
How about that, Hawks fans?
The Blackhawks, if you're listening, you have to pick him now because he's been on our show.
That's right. Exactly. You have to.
So that'll be a good, fun conversation. I think this is the first time that we've had a draft prospect on the show pre-draft.
I think you're right.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have done it in 22.
No,
and didn't do it.
Connor Bedard not made available.
Bedard, we couldn't talk to him.
No.
So yeah, it'll be cool.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And we have Alex Vlasic coming on Wednesday. So big week on CHGO Blackhawks. All right, let's get to one of our mailbag questions
mailbag.
here.
from James. Officially made the leap to Die Hard. Feels good. It should. It's a good choice.
Love it.
As we think about Blashill and Pekka coaching Bedard to play a better 200-foot game, who do we think Connor wants to be as a player when he grows up, quote unquote? Who at this point is a reasonable model for him? Some say he is more like Kane, but we know Connor views himself as a centerman. I don't know if he's necessarily compared games to Matt Barzal, but he has talked about Matt Barzal being someone that he kind of wants to emulate and or play with. So there's a guy that you kind of put up there. With Bedard, the Kane aspect of it is, I feel like he's got the ability to see the ice. He's got the ability to distribute the puck. He's got the ability to shoot, I'd say, better than Patrick Kane did, especially at 18, 19, 20 years old. But I don't think, then the size too, comparable. But I think that's kind of where it stops, because Patrick Kane defensively wasn't all that engaged. When he could back check and win a puck back. But that wasn't when he was going to use his energy on. With Bedard, I feel like he has a willingness to do it. It's just he doesn't have, the NHL ability to do it yet. And doing it from the center position as compared to the wing position is a lot different. You have to go deeper into the defensive zone to coverage. A lot of your coverage is around the net. So it's a different aspect of it. I really don't know who to compare to, because you think about, okay, who are the top defensive centers? Barkov, Kopitar, Sam Ryan. He's not that.
No.
But if he can be a guy that, I just look at Frank Nazar, how he's committed to the engagement in the defensive side of things, positionally being in the right spots to take advantage of, not being the biggest guy, but knowing where to be, where to cover. He's at that level where it is a step above what Connor Bedard is. And honestly, that shouldn't be that surprising, given that Nazar has had more development time, more practice time than Bedard has in his development path, even though Bedard's been in the NHL for 2 full seasons and Nazar's had a little bit more than half a season in the NHL. It's because, I think being through Michigan, being through Rockford, the timing of things, he's older. There's just things that go into it that, from the defensive side of things, that I think Bedard will just catch up to. And I think the addition of Michael Pekka is great for all those young forwards on the defensive side of things. And Blashill's system is going to be a more defensive, not in a way that's going to take away from Bedard, but it's going to be able to play defense the right way for him rather than trying to make him into a two-way guy.
That's what this coaching staff is this winning hockey that Jeff Blashill constantly talks about, is playing a 200-foot game, and no one wants him. No one, would like him to be. No one expects him to be Patrice Bergeron or Jonathan Toews.
No.
But could he be Austin Matthews? Responsible defensively. Matthews got some Selke votes, but that feels like, does anyone really believe that?
Someone picked him to win.
Right. I don't see Austin Matthews.
But he's not like a liability.
Right. I just think that
you can put him on a penalty kill.
We're so locally spooked by the fact that Connor Bedard is not at 100 points yet. The ceiling is still with the ceiling with him.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone outside of Chicago who had massive expectations for him thinks he's behind schedule or anything. Has he struggled at times? Yeah. He's an undersized 19-year-old forward with no help. So I still think he's going to be a 100-point plus player when he's fully realized. And with the staff that the Hawks have put together here, the 200-foot game should develop. It should develop. He's never going to be a stud. He's never going to be Barkov, but he's going to be a guy who you can count on defensively, and maybe, just maybe, down a goal on the penalty kill, Connor Bedard gets some ice time because he's not a liability and he is a threat to score. Mm-hmm. As Jeff Blashill told us, playing on the penalty kill is a privilege. Playing on the power play is a privilege. Same with 6-on-5, 5-on-6, all the privilege.
Yeah.
He's got to earn them. And Blashill pretty much flat out said, he didn't say Bedard's name, but he made it pretty clear who he was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Shorter shifts, stopping on the puck. None of those, what is it, hope and poke?
Hope and poke.
Poke and hope.
Poke and hope.
Poke and hope plays. Those comments are pointed at Connor Bedard because that's what we saw from him too often in his first 2 years. Because frankly, the coaches the Hawks had in place for him were not strong enough personalities to give him a consequence. I think Connor Bedard wants to be coach. I think Connor Bedard wants to be great, and they can't be scared to tell him that was not good enough.
Yeah.
It's got to be better. All right, let's get to another question here, Steven. By the way, 220 plus people watching, 75 likes. Make it make sense. Please hit that like button for us. We'd appreciate that.
From Maticus.
Look at this.
Mailbag question. Would it be a possibility to put Bedard on PK to add a bit of offensive threat? It's a possibility so long as he is doing the things that the coaching staff is expecting of him defensively. And as you literally just said, those responsibilities on special teams are privileges, and you have to play up to the standards that the coaching staff is expected to get those opportunities. You can't just say, well, it's not juniors. You can't just say, well, the best players, we just want them on the ice as much as possible. Like, you have to be able to play within the system, and be responsibly sound and trustworthy.
That's it. Simple enough. We got time for one more before the break?
I think we do.
All right. Let's see what we got here.
From K. Nystrom 27. First, as a diehard, do you think if the Hawks sign Bennett, I believe that's Sam Bennett, the naysayers will come around on him? Carcillo was a giant bag in my book until he donned the Indian head. He still had baggy tendencies, but at least it was for us.
Of course, Hawks fans will come around on it. There's no one that they would look. Bob Probert came and played for the Blackhawks after years of terrorizing them for Detroit. Like, of course,
he was beloved.
As soon as they come here, you fall in love with them. Brad Marchand's a great example. Florida Panthers fans are like, we don't want this. I don't like Brad Marchand.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wait a minute. He just scored overtime winner in Game 2 of the Cup final. We suddenly love Brad Marchand.
Lots of
Crazy.
Brad Marchand Panthers jerseys out there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, look at last season. Corey Perry was here, and people started to really like Corey Perry for the month and a half he was here.
Quickly. And
then he was gone. But that turned around quickly, and it's because it's your guy. They talk about it with all these types of players. 31 teams hate this guy, and that whenever they change, you add one and subtract one, so it's always 31 because whatever team that type of player is playing on, they love him.
I just don't think you can build a team out of like fear of a guy not being liked. You want guys like that on your team. You want guys who are going to play on or over that line from time to time because, frankly, it intimidates the opponent to not know that if I'm going to cross that blue line, if there's going to be a shoulder waiting for me. Like, it makes guys hesitate. And yeah, you'll probably get a suspension or two. You'll get some fines or two. But having a guy on your team like that, like, look at Tom Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody hates Tom Wilson except everybody in Washington.
Right.
Because the guy brings it every game. He is physical. He can score. He can do it all. Those are the guys you hate to play against the most. Bring it on.
Yeah.
I think this team needs somebody like that on it.
Well, and Bennett, too, in the question compared to Dan Carcillo, Bennett is leaps and bounds more impactful.
Yes.
More than just being, a guy that gets under the skin of the opponent than Dan Carcillo. So if the Hawks were to get Sam Bennett, that is for not only in-season performance, of course, but it is a guy that when this team is ready to take the next step and get into the postseason, they'd have somebody that can play that postseason hockey, and that's a big part of where this team needs to get to, and the conversation we had about Martone and the conversation about not wanting to be the Maple Leafs and that narrative of what is a playoff team. I mean, look at the teams that have reached the Cup final year after year after year in recent years. They have guys like that. They have players that are you can rely on them to put up big production numbers. And then there's going to be guys that every spring they become, all on Twitter. Their name is synonymous with Department of Player Safety because they're playing on that edge.
It's fine.
Sometimes crossing it in the playoffs, but at that point, I'd rather have a guy like a Sam Bennett who is, testing that line if it meant you're going to get to a cup final and have a chance to win it.
I think you just want to, if you got a guy who plays like that, you want a guy who's going to do it at the right time in the contact, right? Like you don't want a guy doing it, you're up 1 with 2 minutes left. You're not going to have your guy run the goalie then. He's got to have common sense and know when to take those chances.
Yeah.
Look, Chris Chelios was that guy. Chris Chelios, Eddie Belfour was that guy. He'd rack your nuts if it's in front of the crease. Like Chris Chelios was a guy who was going to get in your face sometimes at the wrong time even, but that's what made him effective. Is that every time you come in front, if you are near Chris Chelios right after a whistle, you're going to get a faceful.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening. So accept it. And then more often than not, those guys will be a little more hesitant to get in Chris Chelios' face. It wears over time.
Plays a factor.
No human can withstand that much physical punishment.
Never.
Right, Ryan Kessler? Is that right? That's a show in 2 years we'll do. All right, we're going to hit the break zone a final time. Hit that like button for us. We are close to 100. That's great. Let's get there. Back in 2 on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. Summer is here, and you better hope your AC is up for the challenge. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Now is the time to get your AC checked out, and Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with AC installation, maintenance, and repair. Schedule your Four Seasons AC tune-up today. Save $50 and enjoy a 1-year no breakdown guarantee. You got to love that. And save up to $4,000 on a new comfort system with Four Seasons. New AC units from $39 a month and AC furnace combos from $57 a month. Your local trusted experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. Again, that's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
And with the excitement of the Stanley Cup final going on right now, it might make you a little excited to get to a Blackhawks game next year. And when you're looking for tickets, why not go through our friends at Game Time? They have a feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you incredible deals with great sales. And what's also great about Game Time is that they have the all-in pricing feature, which allows you to see the total upfront, so there's no surprises when you get to checkout. And if you've never been to an arena or a venue, whatever it is, to see the game or the concert or the comedy show, whatever it is, you can have the view from your seat so you see what it's going to look like when you're there before you buy the tickets. You can say, this is a great seat, or this seat is obstructed. Whatever it is, Game Time allows you to see all of that before you get to checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CHGO. When you do that, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
All right, we got another super chat from the Grim Reaper himself, DJ Schnell. He says, thanks for the response, guys. You're welcome, DJ.
Course.
Another $2 to thank us for saying you're welcome, and
Appreciate
so on
it.
and so on. We'll just keep reading it.
Yeah.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Just
We'll
keep
get
it going.
Steven the well overdue raise he has earned.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that's how that works.
I think so too.
Thanks, DJ.
All right, let's get to another mailbag. Oh, I can read this one. From the Captain Basil. I'm going to guess Basil because the Basil's a name and basil is an herb.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the year Chelsea Dagger gets retired? No.
Not this year, no.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it will.
I want it to. I'm good.
I'm fine with it, but I think they're gonna have some changes with the more establishing of the next era with these prospects coming through, these young guys coming through. I think there's going to be probably some sort of era shift, and maybe it's not a full retiring of Chelsea Dagger. Maybe they still play it as, the post-game win song, or, some guys elect to have a goal song and others it's just Chelsea. I think it will somehow have a different life outside of the standard goal song.
I hope you're right. I think it feels very much like not this Hawks team's property.
Yeah, I think when we're talking about it today, 15 years since the 2010 Cup, and 10 years since 2015, and it just, you feel so removed from that time frame, and that time frame really felt like that was those guys, that was that era's like marker. There's no players from that era left. I don't know. We'll see how long it sticks around, but I feel like that is a move that probably will be made when it's like, not next year, probably not the year after, but in a handful of years when it's, when the NHL team is Bedard, Nazar, Levshinov, all these guys that we're talking about through this rebuild process, when that is the team primarily, I feel like there might be some sort of shift.
Yeah, Brian in the chat says, like, what's a better option? And I get that question, but I just like guys pick your goal songs.
That's the most fun option.
I mean, you can market it. You can make a Spotify playlist of it.
Some teams have done it.
It gives the players more personality, gives them some say. They could change it up as the year goes on. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just feel like it's run its course. It was a great goal song. There's a lot of happy memories attached to it.
It's still a good one.
It just kind of feels old to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
We'll see what they do. G-Bubs 1. When not in the press box above section 319, do you prefer center ice seats or do you prefer corner seats if corner shoots twice side or defends twice side?
Well, in recent years, the defends twice side sees a lot more action.
That's true.
I prefer center ice. Like 320, 321.
Yeah.
Like right there in the middle, the front end of the 300 level, or if you're a cake eater, you can go in the club level and get those great. The club level seats in the middle at center ice are perfect. It is like watching on TV. Mm-hmm. Those are great seats. But yeah, I mean, there's not really a bad seat in the United Center. There's really not. You could see the whole game. But yeah, I used to sit in 329, which is a corner where the Hawks shoot twice.
Yeah.
Love those.
I'm going to say something that might be controversial. It's not worth it to ever sit up on the glass.
I agree with you. It's a cool experience. You should experience it once if you can, but you miss probably 60% of the game.
Waste of money.
Yeah, you can't see it.
It's if you have the money and you don't mind missing half of the game because you can't look down, can't look over, fine. But sitting on the glass, I've done it once for a Ice Hogs game, and it's not worth the price. So I'd rather sit either center ice or corner. I'm not fond of sitting behind one of the nets, but you do have because when the play goes the opposite direction, it's really far away to see what's happening.
Like goalie mode in NHL.
Yeah, exactly. So when it's on the side you're sitting on, it's really cool because you're like right up on it. But when it's really far away, it just seems more far away. So yeah, I'd rather go corner or center ice. And like you said, like the front of the 300 levels is prime for me.
Speaking of that, I got to experience the Stanley Cup final on VR. My daughter's got the
saw that, yeah.
The Oculus, whatever it is. So you go into it's called X Stadium is the app, and you're wearing a headset, so you're a dork, but it's fine. And you like draw your wall in your house, with your remote, and it shows you 3 angles, or maybe it's 4. So you get exactly what we're talking about, center ice.
Uh-huh.
But like as you look down, like there's fans around you, so it's like you're in the stands. Like you could see every fan.
Does that mean that there's like a camera sitting in a seat that people are locking into?
Yes, like center ice, and you can, and like it is literally like you're sitting in a chair, center ice, and as you look around, all the fans are. You look up on the ceiling, see the banners. You can look at the scoreboard in real time.
Fascinating.
They do that. They do behind the goal.
Yeah,
which is really cool, and they have it so you can actually see the puck like along the dasher.
Oh, okay.
So you're literally like in your chair, like watching the game.
That's interesting.
And then they do one from like the blue line in each zone. I think that's it. And then they'll switch to the most advantageous camera for the time.
Okay.
But anytime there's a possession, like a sustained possession, the offensive zone, it's the behind the goalie look. It's cool. If you have a VR set, It is free. I mean, not the VR set, but like using the app and watching the game. You don't have to pay to watch the game.
Yeah.
It took a little while for it to like jive. I had to restart it a couple times, but once it got going, it was so cool. It was such a cool way to watch a game.
That's awesome.
And it's not super delayed.
Yeah. Hey, I've never been into that VR stuff, but that would be a pretty cool experience if all the kinks were worked out. I just imagine you were in your living room, like when PK Subban was doing the intermission. Play it here, stop there. Look at this, stop there. Play it here, and you're just in your living room, just like pointing like a maniac.
That would have been cool.
Nothing.
Michael Evans says, "Do you get the broadcast with it, or is it like being live in a stadium?" You do get the broadcast feed. I have not messed with if you can turn that off or not. I really didn't even think of that. I was just kind of like,
I'd rather have
this
the
broadcast.
Is cool. Yeah,
but you really get a vibe for like the atmosphere in the building, and like it is really like being there.
That's
like
cool.
You see all the ads, you see all the the between whistle stuff, like TV timeouts when they're shoveling.
Yeah,
like it is like being there. It was really cool.
Nice.
So if you got one, I recommend it.
Cool.
All right.
This is from the Twitters. Damaged Lightning says, does anyone else think the Canes are just as big of frauds as the Leafs? They've won a single game in the past the second round in almost 20 years. Anyways, seeing as things are similarly not working in Carolina as they are in Toronto, is there a non-zero chance the Hawks kick the tires on Sebastian Aho? Age fits the timeline, experience as a part of a young team that made great leaps, etc. Would number three and Korch get it done for just under a point per game player? That is far below Sebastian Aho.
You have to ask yourself too, why is Carolina doing that? Carolina's still trying to win.
Yeah.
Like
they're not going to get past the plateau that they're at without Sebastian Aho if they're not adding equivalent superstar value.
Right. I do think there is something to the Hurricanes as frauds. They cannot get over the hump of the conference final.
At least they're getting to conference finals.
The difference is they're in Carolina and the Leafs are in Toronto. But if the Carolina Hurricanes were achieving the same way they are in Toronto, they would be getting the same amount of criticism.
The narrative would be as nasty as it is against the Leafs. But just for the fact that can't always a bridesmaid, never a bride, can't get to the cup final kind of thing.
Yep.
Whereas the Leafs, it's just like if they win a round, you're like, oh my God, what a year it's been for them. Can they win the cup? They've won the first round. With the Hurricanes, it's legitimately like, can they get to the cup final? I'd rather have that.
That's better.
Honestly, I'd rather win 2 rounds a year than maybe one. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely something to be said for a team that is like a Final Four team, but not someone that can get to that extra step.
All right.
Alberto Vitale. What's a better outcome for Bedard's development next season? Establishing himself as a 30-goal scorer, a point per game player, or a legitimate two-way center with a positive plus-minus and over 50% faceoffs?
Option A.
Why not mix them both? Be a 30-goal scorer, point per game player, a positive two-way center who wins 50% of his faceoffs. Just be Jonathan Toews.
That's it. It's not that hard. Jonathan Toews did it.
Come on, Connor.
If I had to pick one, I would want the offensive stuff from him. I want to see that he can put up points. It probably also means the Hawks got him some help.
Right. If he's getting to that production level, yeah, absolutely.
I'm not worried about plus minus.
No.
Face-offs, 50%, get to 45.
Yeah, he's a career 38%.
Yeah, get to 45 and you can live with it.
Get into the mid 40s. That's an improvement. And hey, with working with Michael Pekka, that might be something that also improves for Connor. The plus minus, like if the collective team defensively is better, everyone's plus minus, not just Connor Bedard, is going to be impacted positively. So yeah, if next year he puts up 30 goals and 80 points, that's not his peak, but that's definitely the direction you want him going after 2 20 and 60 seasons.
All right.
Old Sneaky Pete. If Martin Necas isn't a fit in Colorado, do the Hawks have the pieces to make a trade work? What would that look like?
If Martin Necas isn't happy in Colorado,
He's not going to be happy in
I
Chicago.
don't know what he's looking for. What does he want?
Tons of money, maybe.
Well, then they can certainly make that happen. They've got the draft capital. They've got the prospects.
The Hawks could, yeah.
Yeah, sure, but like,
yeah,
I don't want to give up the farm and a crap ton of money to a guy that's not committed to being here. And again, he was unhappy in Carolina.
He wanted more opportunity than he was getting in Carolina, and then got traded to Colorado.
And still doesn't seem
played
satisfied.
well
He
at
was
the beginning,
great.
and then kind of tapered off. But I don't see that being a fit, both with what Colorado would want to make happen in a trade and what Natchez would want out of Chicago, other than a fat paycheck. Which some players are just happy making a ton of money and they don't care about competitiveness and success and all that stuff. But usually those aren't the players that help you get to where you want to go.
He is exactly what they need.
Oh, sure.
In terms of the player, in terms of the NHL 25, trade this guy to this team, it's a perfect fit. But he's got to want to be here. Like, that's the key to me. Like,
right.
If you're not happy in two of the best teams in the league, we're going to be happy.
Yeah.
That is a concern for me. That said, if they trade for him, I'm very happy.
Yeah. I don't know if they, again, I don't know if they know, I don't know if they have what could make it work outside of giving up too many, valuable picks. But, I don't know. I don't see it happening.
All right. Let's keep them rolling, baby.
Chris Mearsman. In my opinion, it's time to be aggressive this year. Kyle Davidson has said at some point you can't keep drafting players. Should we trade up to number 1 by trading 3, 25, and 1 of our first-round picks next season to go get Misa?
I mean, I'm for trading up. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But if it's at Florida, would it be the Florida first from the?
Well,
Jones
yeah,
trade,
it would
right?
be the Florida first because you're not giving up an unprotected chance at Gavin McKenna.
If you know what, if that's what it takes, I would do it. I would do it because if you're sold and you're bullish that Michael Misa is that guy, it feels like an overpay.
It does.
But if that's your dude, so you're getting Spencer Knight, Michael Misa, and a first-round pick for Seth Jones. Like, when you look at it that way,
you'd get Spencer Knight and Michael Misa.
That's what I'm saying.
Because wasn't it Knight in the? Well, yeah. Well, you said extra first-round pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. You could look at it that way. I just think the way I look at Michael Misa and this forwards group draft class is that Misa's the top forward in the class. I would have him at the top of the draft class, 1A, 1B over Matthew Schaefer. But I don't think the gap between Misa and the next 4 forwards is that wide that you need to give up 2 extra first-round picks to go and get them. So if
I don't think you have to give that much.
If
I think
3
you
and
could do it for 3 and
25,
25.
if 3 and 25 to the Sharks or Islanders got it done, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, I would question it.
Would you throw a mid-level prospect in there to make it happen?
Like who?
Like Wyatt Kaiser.
Yeah,
Kaiser
from
25 for Misa.
I mean you're picking from the middle of a deep positional group. So not to say Wyatt Kaiser is quote unquote almost nothing.
No,
he's more than that, but also he's in that scenario he's incredibly expendable. I don't know if that's does that do anything for the Islanders or for the Sharks to push them forward?
And you could also, as Scott points out here in the chat, you could add pieces and bring some players back for the Islanders too. You could make it a bigger deal.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Someone like Anders Lee or maybe Matthew Barzal, who Connor Bedard would love to play with. Like, maybe
if you want to make it a big moving pieces trade, sure, why not? Get crazy with it. But yeah, I mean, specifically, I don't think I would do 325 plus that next year's first round pick, which I would only do. I'm not moving Chicago's own first round pick.
Oh, hell no. No.
Yeah. But I agree. Be aggressive. I'm happy with Kyle Davidson being aggressive, taking a chance. If they, like you said, if they are that dead set that Misa is head and shoulders above anybody else in the forwards group, if that's their reasoning, fine.
Better be right though.
You got to be right. Absolutely.
And yeah, a lot of people saying like, don't trade Kaiser. If you want to get something quality back, you're going to have to give up something you like. They don't want Lucas Reichel. They don't want Philip Kurashev. That is of no interest. Fine, maybe throw him in. Fine, yeah, sure. We'll take a flyer for 1 year on this guy, see what happens.
If you have a bunch of
moving
pieces.
You're not going to be able to give teams your leftovers to get a massive piece back. You're going to have to give up something that hurts.
Mm-hmm.
To get Seth Jones, the Panthers had to give Spencer Knight.
Yeah.
You got to give to get.
That was their future goaltender once Sergei Bobrovsky is done being one of the best in the world.
Correct.
So it was an insurance piece, and they figured, well, cups are better than insurance pieces, but it was a big deal for Chicago to get him. And would it be a big deal for any of, for the Islanders or Sharks to get, future number 6 defenseman Wyatt Kaiser or something like that? I don't know. But if you get a big trade where it's like 7 pieces to it, yeah, then maybe you have multiple things like that.
All right.
Next, from Sports Hash. If JJ Peterka is on the table, what would you give up to get him? Current picks, current players, prospects outside Bedard.
We kind of dabbled in this last week a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Where I said 3.
Again, 3 and
25. And it was Korchinski for, where are they picking? 5th or 9th? 9th, Peterka and Byram.
Yeah, you had Byram in there.
That doesn't seem like enough from the Hawks.
No, I think you'd be in a situation like we were just talking about where you'd have to either add it to a bigger trade or you're subtracting and you're just going straight for Peterka rather than anything else around it. And again, like he's going beyond 3 and 25 for Misa is like, you have to be right. You have to be convinced that this guy is going to be that top line player, top 6 player that is going to, hit his ceiling. With Peterka, you already have a resume and a track record in the NHL of being able to be that type of guy. So if you go 3 and 25 and you throw in a higher level prospect, or you throw in another, if it's next year's Florida's first or one of their second round picks this year or something like that, going beyond that 3 and 25, I'm more comfortable doing that for a guy like Peterka because he's proven and he reaches the timeline. He makes the team better immediately. That's the kind of parameters I would go with. I don't know if Korchinski. Yeah, I mean, again, he's the popular player to kind of just throw in there when you're throwing trades out there, but I think he's someone that other teams would be interested in for sure.
Yeah. You got to give something that hurts to get something that quality back.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that.
Next. Did we get through all the diehards? We did. Okay, good. All right. From this one.
C. Climatier?
C. Climatier. Yeah, sure. That works. What would you say about a trade like this? Second overall and Igor Chernyshev for 3rd overall plus Nazar plus 25th. No.
No.
No. Chernyshev to me does not equal Nazar a 1st round pick and a 3rd round pick, and then you're pick swapping 2 and 3. No, I wouldn't do that.
You're not trading.
I'm not saying Frank Nazar is untouchable, but you gotta wow me way more than that.
I need a guarantee
for Frank. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, hey. Again, aggressive, sure. Overly aggressive, probably.
I like it. I like the thinking, but no.
Right, from Showtime.
Oh, God.
Frank Saravalli listed Matt Dumba as a buyout candidate.
No.
Could you see value in trading for Dumba, get that veteran presence for his last year, and leverage something more exciting for that help to the Stars?
So you're saying take Matt Dumba's contract to make something better happen?
Take Matt Dumba and flip him?
Did Dumba not even play in the playoffs?
No, I don't believe he was.
Let's see. Matt Dumba.
I mean, I don't. If someone is going to be
$3.75 million next year.
How much?
$3.75 million.
I mean, if you're buying out TJ Brody, why trade to add Matt Dumba, who's likely to get bought out as well.
I just don't.
Why not just keep TJ Brody at that point?
And I feel like that is not enough of a cap hit for the Stars to be like, we have to move this out to make everything work. You're going to get a massive pay cut from Jamie Benn. You're talking about, Jason Robertson being. Now that's a guy I would really be interested in getting.
Yeah, I would. But
that
if the Stars are talking
need.
like that, doing something for Dumba, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think he.
If I'm taking on Dumba and blocking, I mean they'll bench him. They don't care. They did it with Brody, but if I'm taking on Dumba, I want something really good.
Yeah,
back.
Well, and I think if you're getting a guy who 50 games into the season, you're just benching, then why do it?
I'd be more interested in, if I'm helping the Stars clear cap space, Tyler Seguin.
Yeah.
2 years at 9.85.
More serviceable than Matt Dumba.
I think he will help the team more than Matt Dumba will. He's not the player he used to be, but this year he played 20 games for the Stars, had 21 points, 52 and 68. The health is an issue.
Yeah, just coming off a big injury.
But he was all right in the playoffs. So 8 points in 18 playoff games for Dallas. Not huge, but I don't know. If you're going to get a big sweetener back for that.
Yeah. JFab Sits says, I'd take Dumba and Mason Marchment from the Stars. Okay. Now we're talking a little bit better.
Sir, I'm down to Mason Marchment.
Yeah.
He's a UFA after next year, so that could make some sense for them.
Sure. Let's squeeze one more in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hawks Fan 6, do you guys think events like the Tom Curvers Prospect Showcase could be ending within the coming years due to too many CHL players going to the NCAA after getting drafted, thus disallowing them to attend training camp?
I hadn't thought of that.
It's
actually interesting.
I don't think the exodus like that is going to be that drastic of CHL players going to college. I think there's always going to be enough prospects to do something like that. And it's already been, the Hawks, they were in the Traverse City rookie tournament. That's got scaled down to Tom Curvers, which is just the Wild, Blues, and Hawks now. So maybe eventually, but I don't think just the CHL NCAA transfer agreement, anything like that. I don't think that's going to be the reason it goes away. I mean, we've seen them take prospect camp off ice.
Yeah.
I think more teams might start doing that, and we might start looking at these, prospect camp tournament kind of things start to kind of fall by the wayside too. But I think it's more or less going to be a player management thing than a who's available, who's not.
All right, Steve, we got time to get this last one in here?
Yeah, I just noticed, Mario, you were right. We did miss one diehard question.
Let's do it
make sure that
here.
we get that as soon as the computer lets me.
Make the diehards happy. From History Racer, do you think Davidson's comment they see Bedard and Nazar both as centers moving forward hurt the chances for someone like Desnoyers? Seems like Nazar and him would be battling for 2C and 3C, which isn't great for value at number 3. Well, don't forget about Sasha Boisvert. He's in there as well in that conversation. No, I think if you believe that Caleb Desnoyers is worthy of the 3rd overall pick, you'll find places for these guys. And we've talked about like the center to wing to center kind of, things that you do to make your lineups work. Bijan says Ryan Green as well. Yeah, throw him in there too. Like they have plenty of guys who can be centers. And for the fact that it seems like Desnoyers and Frondel and like actual Misa, like guys that look like they're going to pan out as centers in the NHL are still all in the conversation. I don't think it's going to take them away from taking someone like that.
There's nothing wrong with being really deep at center. That's what most Stanley Cup champions are.
Right. And
you figure it out. And if Sasha Boisvert ends up being the next Marcus Kruger and he's a 4th-line center that's probably a 3 or a 2 somewhere else, great.
Yeah.
You have an embarrassment of riches and you've got trade pieces you can use to strengthen your team elsewhere. Don't draft out of fear that you might have too much of something good.
No.
Except defensemen.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks, everybody, for being here with us today. Hit that like button on your way out for us. And remember, tomorrow we're going to talk to Porter Martone. Wednesday, we're talking to Alex Vlasic. So a big week coming up here on CHGO Blackhawks. Make sure you hit that like button for us. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well. And if you're checking us out on the podcast, thank you. Make sure you're following or subscribed And leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. For Mario Chiravasi and Steven and everybody here at CHGO, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2 right here on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.